Whole world's crazy and I'm crazy too. Hey, everybody, it's Ron Bass with another edition of The Ron Bass Show, your source for inspiration, motivation, encouragement, humor, gossip, world affairs, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Brent Atterbury, our executive producer, Mr. Marketing Guru himself, joining us today.
Glad to see you.
Glad to see me. Glad to see anybody today.
Yes.
At my age.
Yes.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Took your advice, drinking Gatorade versus Dr. Pepper versus
Electrolytes.
Barks Root Beer. Barks Root Beer. Maybe they'll send me a case of root beer for mentioning their name. Who knows, huh?
I don't know.
Man, well, this is a lot healthier anyway, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the gym, got a cool little story to tell you.
Awesome.
So I'm at the gym the other day. I'm at the gym every day, right? But the other day in particular, one of my friends, Amanda, had left the gym, said goodbye, and about 5 minutes later, she came back into the gym, and I said, "What's up?" She goes, "Ron, I hate to tell you this, but you got a flat tire." I said, "You're kidding me." And in the back of my mind, I thought, I'm not surprised because I could tell that tire was probably going bad. You can tell because it was bumpity, like probably had big, pieces of rubber that were falling out of it, so it was clunk, clunk, clunk. But I thought I'll get by for a while. I guess when I pulled it in the parking lot, so she said, "Hey man, I'll change the tire for you." And she's kind of a tomboy, super fit, super smart, great person. I said, "Amanda, that's so sweet of you." I said, "Look, I'll take care of it. I'll call one of my technicians because I'm in the automotive mobile repair business, and he'll come over and he'll change it for me while I'm working out." She said, "Well, man, I can change it for you." She used to work in a big like a shop, like a diesel shop. So she would do this kind of stuff all the time anyway.
Wow.
And she said, "I've got all the tools. Just let me do it." And I said, "Amanda, I don't want you to get dirty. Thank you so much. You're so sweet." So I thought to myself, man, you know what? There's still a lot of kindness left in the world, guys. We talk about this. Mm-hmm. And that's just one example of that. So when I left the gym, I went outside, my guy was put the donut tire on, and I took a picture of it, and I sent it to her, and I said, just want to thank you so much for being so sweet and so kind and so thoughtful. I said, unlike so many people in the world today that are not like that, I said, this is a ray of sunshine. And, so guys, I say that to say this. Anytime you have an opportunity to do something nice for somebody, man, do it. You don't need to expect anything in return for it. There's an old Jewish saying that says to give anonymously is the truest form of giving. But when you give something, you don't have to expect anything back in return. Just do it for the sake of doing it, to be nice, to help somebody, to put a smile on somebody's face, to be helpful. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling, obviously, physically, financially, personally, and if we can just lend a hand once in a while, geez, that's worth his weight in gold. I'm noticing in front of my dojo here, people are walking up and down the street. A lot of homeless people, right? Man, it's everywhere. Homeless. So the other day, there was some real drama going on. As I was leaving the parking lot, I looked up, and this woman was screaming at the top of her lungs at the gentleman that was with her. I don't know if it was a boyfriend or a husband. Could have been either one. I mean, screaming bad. And he turned around and walloped her. And I thought, oh boy, here I go. I got to get in the middle of this. She fell to the ground, but she jumped right back up. And I thought, boy, what do I do? If she, I thought, if I get in the middle of this, it may not go well, because who knows what kind of relationship they've got. Did he, it looked like he hit her pretty good, but she must have been pretty tough, because she jumped right back up and started yelling at him again. And they kept walking. And I thought, my martial arts training teaches me to get involved if there's something somebody's like getting hurt that can't defend themselves. But clearly she was handling herself, so I thought I better not get in the middle of it. But that's a perfect example of why you want to learn martial arts, self-defense, because it's not just for your benefit. You may come across a situation like that, only that maybe that person couldn't have helped herself. Maybe she would have gone down and couldn't get back up. I would have gone right over to that person to help, to give first aid. And then if the guy wanted to get in the middle of it, oh well, I'll probably have to do what I have to do. But that's the advantage of training every single day, learning how to fight, learning how to defend yourself, staying in shape physically. So, man, I couldn't believe it. Right in front of my martial arts school, literally right in front of the door. Crazy stuff.
Wow.
Yep. But at any rate, the whole world's crazy, and I'm crazy too. My friend Isaac Jenkins, he would used to come to my office every day, and that was one of his favorite sayings. I think it had something to do with the premier of Russia way back in the day, Nikita Khrushchev. He was at the United Nations, and he was banging his shoe on the table, and saying something along those lines, and people were like looking at him like, this guy's nuts. He was a little crazy, but speaking of Russia, boy, all kinds of stuff going on over there right now with Ukraine and President Biden and these long-range missiles, and they're talking about nuclear war, and oh boy. So I'm thinking there's some stuff going on with the president-elect Trump in the back channels, like hopefully trying to keep it calm until he gets in there and kind of, get things straightened out a little bit, or try to anyway. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the world.
There is.
A lot of crazy stuff going on around here.
Yeah.
I fit right in.
You opened the podcast.
I fit right in.
With crazy.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
I know, I'm silly. Well, let's see. Do I have any other cute little stories to tell before we get into our topic? Something I found really interesting this week. I've been studying about people that are the prodigies. How kids, particularly kids, at such a young age can be so successful in their trade or their art. I was reading about a chess master. He was only 6 years old. This is way back in the 20s.
Wow.
And he was able to beat all these adults, like all these world champions. And I'm thinking, how is that possible? So I studied it, and it's basically what the scientists say is that you're probably born with this super high IQ, so you have the ability to learn very quickly. And then if you have parental influence to teach you the trade, whether it's music or chess or whatever the trade is, art, that you can develop that skill at a very young age. And obviously, these people are unusual. It's not like the average person can do that.
Right.
Of course, if you practice long enough, they say 10,000 hours, you can become an expert in anything, in theory. But at such a young age, that's pretty incredible. And then I've studied about some of these musicians. There's this one lady in particular. She started playing music at 9 years old. She's 18 now. She was on the CBS Late Show the other night playing guitar. You don't get invited to play on a national television network because you're good. You got to be outstanding on steroids good.
Yeah.
18 years old, and she said she really didn't get busy with it until COVID. So that means she's only been playing seriously for 4 years? And she's already that good. So another example of wow, how is that possible? But people that have these exceptionally high IQs that train them, that are, get good influence and practice a lot, can become just so outstanding in their trade. It's just fascinating to me. Mm-hmm. Whereas the average person, has to work 10 times harder and doesn't even get close to that accomplishment. Mm-hmm. So is it fair? Is it not fair? I don't know if that really matters. I think what matters is you're probably not likely to fall in that category. Only a few people are going to wind up like that. But that doesn't mean you can't work really hard, pick a trade, pick a subject, and be determined to become successful at it. It may take a lifetime. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are determined to accomplish the goal. Never give up on the goal. We talk about that all the time. But prodigies fascinate me, particularly in music. And I think I talked about another example recently about this girl was 5 years old and she's already a composer, already doing symphonies, writing it, all the music, and then performing it on a piano. It's crazy.
Wow.
At such a young age, yeah. But there again, back to being a prodigy. Mm-hmm. It's just, I don't know, things like that fascinate me. But you can bring it on down and say to yourself, okay, wow, that's inspirational. Okay, maybe I can't be the best martial artist in the world, but that doesn't mean I can't become more successful at it if I continue to train, have great mentorship. We talk about mentorship all the time. Practice, practice, practice. I told the joke about the little boy in New York City, right, walking down the street, and he says to the old man, he says, how do I get to Carnegie Hall? And back in those days, that was like the Madison Square Gardens. And the old man says, practice, practice, practice. So really and truthfully, if you want to get to where you want to get to, it's just a matter of staying the course. Just work at it, keep working at it, keep working at it, keep working at it. Doesn't have to be money, doesn't have to be fame. It could just be, hey, I want to be, I want to learn how to be a better fisherman. I want to learn how to be a better hunter. I want to be a better parent. I want to be a better son. I want to be a better human being. Gee whiz, by itself, that's a huge job.
Yeah.
You think about all the stuff going on in the world today and how easy it is to get off track and be discouraged and upset and disappointed and depressed. And you got to work every day, guys, on trying to keep your mind straight. That's why I go to the gym every day. It's very, very helpful because it keeps the brain sharp. And you have to do it every day. It's like you have to eat every day. You have to work out every day. You have to have motivation every day. You can't just go to like a motivational seminar and leave the seminar and go, yeah, I'm going to set the world on fire. It only lasts for a little while. You got to keep feeding the brain with motivation, whether it's reading, whether it's video, whether it's experience, whether it's education, whether it's mentorship. You got to be around good people, guys. You got to be around good people. I had this conversation. One of my students came in. I hadn't seen this guy in months. He showed up yesterday in my office, and he was crying. And he said, Ron, I feel so lost. And he said, I really feel like the best place for me to be is working out in this gym. I said, I agree with you. He says, but this happened and that happened, and this happened and that happened. And I said, look, man, I get it. Life's full of lots of stuff that's going to make you not feel happy, not feel good. That's why you got to work out every day, whether you're doing martial arts, whether you're going to the gym. I said, look, get a membership to a gym, $10 a month. You can join a gym somewhere and go in there and do some cardio and lift some weights and just be around people that are ambitious, and you'll feel better every day. And then when you feel up to it, start coming into our school in the evening and pick up, because he was a really good boxer and he was really good at doing jiu-jitsu with us as well. And I said, man, look, you're welcome anytime. He says, but Ron, right now, I don't think I have the money. I said, don't worry about the money. You pay me when you can. You need to come in here and hang out with us and get your mind right. Get yourself, straightened out, man. So that's just another example of there's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff out there. And anytime you are in a position that you can help. I'm not saying you want to just give money to somebody, but if they're willing to work for it, lend a hand, man. I don't see anything wrong with that. There's other things in life besides making a lot of money that are probably a lot more important. Yes, you have to make money to pay your bills. Yes, if you're in business, you have to make money to be able to invest in your business. I get it. But if you've got a little bit of extra money, that can go a long ways to help a lot of people. Just a few bucks. It doesn't even take that much money. Mm-hmm. Okay. We were just talking earlier before the podcast. Hell, our whole life's a podcast. We were talking about it earlier today. We're visiting about this and that. And I said, we're already doing the podcast here. The camera's not even on yet. This is earlier today. But I was telling Brent, I said, look, man, you don't know from minute to minute, from second to second, what's going to happen. That shoe can drop any time. It could be a physical, it could be an emotional, it could be mental or financial. And it can happen. I told Brent, I said, we might not even get out of the building today. We don't know. Somebody might come up to the door and lob a hand grenade in it. You just don't know. Not that we deserve it, but no. Things are going to happen. And you have to live your life to the fullest every single day and don't put off anything. If you're goal-oriented, guys, if you're ambitious, which Brent and I we're both kind of like ambitious on steroids. We're very ambitious people. It's just the way it is. And a lot of that has to do with influence. My mother was very ambitious. My father was ambitious. My grandparents were ambitious. They were all in business. So I grew up around a lot of professional, ambitious, motivated people. And when you're a little boy and you see all that and you grew up around that, what happens? You become who you surround yourself with. That's the law of psychology. So, but look, anything can happen at any time in your life. My friend at the gym, Dr. Jones, she just got her PhD. She teaches college. Brilliant, beautiful young woman. Went through a horrible divorce. I've talked about her before. We talk at the gym quite often. So yesterday we were visiting, and she's just now beginning to feel better about herself because, you go through something like that. It really screws up your self-confidence, and you don't feel good about yourself. And she's going to therapy, going to counseling, which I think is great, guys. If you got a problem and you can't resolve it on your own, get some counseling. Some of it's free. Sometimes you got to pay for it. But whatever you got to do to get the right kind of influence, you need to do it. So we were talking about this at the gym, and I said, "Look, man, you were rolling along, doing great with your life. You've got a beautiful home, you've got a beautiful daughter, you're super attractive, you're physically fit, you got a great job, you got money in the bank, and then your husband does this and he does that, and then all of a sudden he wants a divorce, and your life goes into the crapper. So you just don't know when things are going to hit you right between the eyes, like you just don't know." Mm-hmm. Another good reason why you need to work out every day, and we talked about that. It's like she said to me, "Man, working out every day at least helps me to manage my stress." And she says, "Now I'm beginning to feel better and better." And I can see her, I can look at her, and I can tell to myself, she's getting so much better because she looks better. She's got a glow about her now. She just looks better, more attractive, and she's more physically fit than she was before. I think you were going to say something.
No,
I'm taking up all the oxygen.
No,
in the room here.
I'm listening. You're on a roll, buddy.
Oh boy!
She probably also has a ton of self-confidence now.
It's definitely better.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, "Don't date for a year." She said, "Well, it's been almost a year that we separated." I said, "Look, take some more time." She said, "I'm not really interested in dating anybody." I said, "I don't blame you, man." I said, "Look, when you're a busy person," I talk about this all the time on the podcast, having a relationship can be very distracting, particularly if you're not 100%, if you're not feeling 100%, because it just takes you off your mark. And so I said, I would encourage you, do what you want, but I would encourage you to just have good friendships like our friendship. This is good. We can talk, we can visit, have intelligent conversations, work out together, and enjoy each other's company. But you don't have to be romantic to have a good time. And so I kind of went into that discussion with her, and she seemed to agree with me, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Very bright young lady. Used to be a parole officer before she did all this. So she teaches, is it criminology, I think is what they call it? Yeah, teaches that in college.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, huh? Super, super cool chick. At any rate. So emotional roller coasters, mental illness, depression can hit you at any time, guys. Look, you could be perfectly fine, and the next thing you know, you're depressed because sometimes the brain chemistry just goes weird. The body's complicated, and you could take meds and all that, but really, back to working out, if you work out, it'll keep your brain, somehow it keeps that brain chemistry sort of leveled. I don't know exactly all the terms, but it does make a big difference. I'm not saying that if you're schizophrenic and you've got manic depression that maybe that's not going to be enough, but it's definitely going to help on top of the meds, on top of the counseling, on top of the fact of hanging around the right kind of people. So I know I say a lot of things over and over again, guys, but it's because it's the formula. Whatever I'm telling you is something I've experienced all this myself. So I don't just speak from what I read, I speak from my own life's experiences. I'm not saying I'm 100% right, but by and large, I would say I'm probably pretty much always in the neighborhood, give or take, pretty close. Sometimes people get mad at me because I get pretty, direct, but I only do it because I feel like if people will take this advice that they will benefit. It's not for my benefit.
No.
I'm already experiencing the benefit of these things that I'm expressing. So, at any rate, financial, I could write a book. I could write a lot of books, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down for a lot of years. But the key, I've always said to myself and to others, is that if you have the ability to earn money, it doesn't matter how much you got in the bank today. You'll be able to put the money back in the bank at some point because you have the skill and the determination to create new income. So you can come back. You can always come back. It's not the end of the world, guys. If you're bankrupt, if you run out of money, you can't pay your bills this month, there's always a way. You just got to keep trying. You need to come up with a strategy. You can't just like, oh God, please help me to find this money. No, you gotta work. You gotta come up with some strategies to create income. But if you stay the course and you've got some good people around you and you've got a decent strategy and you're honest, you're going to come back. You're going to come back. I can attest to that from my own experience. Okay. probably going to run out of time.
Talk faster.
Well, I had made some notes here about success. And actually we've been talking about it pretty much here, look, genetics can play a big role. Like in my martial arts school, I was watching one of my students last night. Oh my God, this guy is he's only done it 3 years, but when I first met him, he was I thought to myself, there's no way this guy can do it, man. He's just not that guy. And now he's beating everybody up. I mean, and I'm watching him. It's just incredible to see him operate. He's so smart, and when you have a high intelligence, you can learn so quick, and he retains everything. So when I'm watching him roll, we call it rolling or fighting, he just is able to move so quick and exact, and he knows how to get out of a bad situation to get to a good one real quick. And so his opponents are baffled because they just can't keep up with this guy. And I'm so happy for this kid because he's grown up with a lot of depression. He has to take medication, and he's deaf in one ear. He got some kind of an accident when he was a kid. Kind of a nerdy guy, well, a very nerdy guy. And to see this guy have this kind of success, man, I'm so happy for him. And the respect that he's gained in the martial arts community, wow, it's incredible. So I love to talk about things like that.
Yeah.
We talked about parental influence. That's so powerful. Another thing that helps you become more successful is good marketing. Brent's an expert at marketing, and he knows how to help his clients build more business through better marketing. He's an expert at it. He knows from all the ups and downs and all arounds and all the years that he's trained himself and learned and educated himself. So you got to be around people like Brent to improve your business. But you can market yourself too, like in a social setting. You don't have to be the most popular person, but if you know how to market yourself, and I mean personality-wise, like there's a guy at the gym. If you look at him, he's stone-faced, never smiled. I've never seen him smile, and I've seen him like a year. The other day he was doing pull-ups. Well, that's my thing. I love doing pull-ups. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to approach this guy. I don't know what's going to happen. He might just turn around and hit me in the mouth or something because he looked kind of mean. And I could tell he was a military guy because he wore a backpack, kind of a military backpack. And I walked up to him and I said, hey, man, those pull-ups that you're doing, those are the hardest ones, because he was doing wide pull-ups. And he looked at me and goes, yeah, man. He opened up to me.
Wow.
Yeah, opened up to me. And we started visiting, right? And I thought, okay, this worked. And then he said, what's your name? And I said, Ron. And I said, what's your name? And he told me. And then we kind of talked a little bit and visited a little bit. So a few days went by and I saw him today. He walks into the gym and he goes, hey, Ron, how you doing, man? I thought, so you never know about people. Yeah. You can think that they're assholes. And if you looked at him and watched him, you'd probably think, that guy's an asshole. No, he's just probably kind of shy. He doesn't want to impose himself on others. So I say that to say this, guys. It's okay to open up to people even if you don't think that they want to talk to you, because you never know, they might be looking for that friendship. Now, if they're real curt and coy and they don't want to talk to you, okay, you made your attempt. You made an attempt.
Yeah.
But you never know, you might create a new friendship, and that guy or the girl might become one of your best friends in the whole world. You don't know. So I just like to throw things like that out there and say to you guys that it's not just about marketing business, you have to market yourself.
Yes.
Well, how are we doing on time? You got some breaking news, sir?
I do.
I love it.
Wow.
Wow.
Talking about working out.
Yeah.
I know you like pull-ups.
Yeah.
But do you like push-ups?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, a new Guinness World Record has been broken.
I'm afraid to wonder how much.
A Canadian grandmother completed 1,575 push-ups in 1 hour.
Oh, that's crazy.
Took the title for the most push-ups in 1 hour for a female.
1,500 pull-ups.
1,575 push-ups.
And she's how old?
59 years old.
Wow.
She has 12 grandkids.
Well, let me put that in perspective. My friend Tony, who I used to work out with, we would do sets of 50, and we would do 250, and it would take us probably 30 minutes, and I was exhausted. So put that in perspective compared to what that's like a remarkable
That's the Prodigy
accomplishment on
almost.
steroids. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean,
Wow.
obviously she talks about how she worked up to it over the years, and she had an older record, but it was like for 4 hours, but she did it in 1 hour.
Now think about that. 4 hours down to 1 hour. Talk about endurance. Talk about strength. Talk about dedication. Wow. That's remarkable and very, very inspirational.
Yeah, she hit her goal. Yeah.
Along those lines, Bruce Lee, the famous martial artist way back in the day, he could do 50 pull-ups, 50 underhanded pull-ups with one arm. I can't even do one pull-up with one arm. I got to use both arms. So another example of hard work, great genetics,
Yes.
dedication, determination, goal setting, influence. Somebody's influenced her. And 59 years old, she did it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I knew you'd like that.
I love that.
On a lighter note, today is National Peanut Butter Fudge Day.
I like peanut butter.
Yeah.
And I had fudge last night.
Oh.
So we're hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah. So just gotta end it on that note.
Peanut butter's a good way for me not to eat a lot, but it's a lot of calories, I guess. But I don't get off. I don't know if in the afternoon instead of eating a big meal, I'll eat peanut butter because it gives me some calories, but I don't feel sleepy. I don't feel bloated, but I get the calories that I need.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Not as cool as me, but pretty cool.
Yes.
I'm only kidding. Sort of. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, boy. Well, I guess. Got any words of wisdom before we get out of here?
No. You had a lot to say today.
Well, I had a lot on my mind.
Yes.
I seems like...
And I'm glad your mind wasn't empty. I'm glad it had some stuff in there.
Seems like during the course of the week, there's so many experiences that take place in my life. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And
I love experiencing these things, and I love being able to talk about them to the public and sharing. And that's really all our podcast is it's common sense stuff. Like, I see a lot of talk shows, and they love to interview celebrities, which we're not doing. And I've been criticized for that. Like, you need more guests. But you know what? That's really not what our podcast is. This is not a talk show podcast. This is a podcast based on sharing life's experiences and passing along some nuggets and having some fun and doing it in a casual sort of way. We're not here for an hour, 20, 25 minutes every week. And we enjoy getting the comments. We enjoy talking about what you guys want to talk about. As you know, every time I get a comment, I like to expound upon it and visit about it. So that's a big part of our podcast as well. It's you. That's why we're doing this, right?
That's right.
So, at any rate, I guess we'll get out of here and close on this note. Just remember, like I've always said, if you don't give up, those stars are going to line up sooner or later. And the key to the whole thing, guys, we say it all the time, is just stay the course. Consistency is a big word. And if you really think about that word, it's really the whole ball of wax. It's really the whole thing, because if you stay with something long enough, even if you're lousy at it, even if you're terrible at it, sooner or later you're going to get better at it. I don't care what it is. Playing the piano, doing martial arts, going to the gym, lifting weights, losing weight, whatever it is. Dealing with depression, discouragement, unhappiness. If you stay the course and work at something long enough, it's going to get better. I don't know how fast. I can't promise you that. But it will improve. It will improve. I promise you. I know that from my own experiences and many, many experiences. So don't give up, even when you feel like it. That's another big problem. People want to give up. It's uncomfortable. I don't feel good. I don't like it. It's too hard. I went to the gym today. I didn't want to do 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, but I did it anyway because I know how much it will help me. I'm motivated by the rewards, many rewards. Okay, so much for all that. But up until that time, and even after that time that you hit your goals, guys, just remember, keep your head up and stay positive.